Alright, welcome. I'm the Canadian Common Sense Carl. Firewood Tutorial 101 for rookies. And not just for rookies, perhaps. I'm going to show you how you can figure out how much wood you're going to burn. How much wood will I need, and how big a stove do I need to heat X amount of square feet? These are, of course, fundamental questions, and with good reason. A little background here before I get into the hard stuff. 20 years ago, I moved into an old rickety farmhouse here in southern Ontario, where we get real winter. The only heat source there was firewood. Now, I had zero experience with firewood, and I asked everyone I knew, how much wood will I need? A lot of the people I asked were, and had been, exclusively firewood dependent for years. The summation of what I garnered from all these inquiries was a lot, more than you'd think. Depends how cold it gets. Varies from year to year. Hard to say. The type of wood you burn makes a big difference. I was as astounded as I was frustrated that I couldn't even get an approximation or a guesstimate of how much wood I'd need. So now, 20 years later, I've lived in 4 different abodes, all exclusively dependent upon wood heat, all in the same county, just northwest of Toronto. Actually, the northwest corner of the greater Toronto area. Now, 3 out of 4 of these places were awful rough by anyone's standards. Not quite chinking moss between the logs rough, but a far stretch by anyone's imagination of what would be considered a normal house. Now, this will be my 9th winter heating this particular place exclusively with wood. This place is a turn-of-the-century brick farmhouse, approximately 2,500 square feet I'm heating, including the below-grade basement, where we are now, which is uninsulated, if you can see that. And that's where my old wood stove resides. This firebox, approximately 24 feet 24 inches wide by 18 feet. Feet again. 24 by 18 inches. Nothing special about it. And when I say an old stove, that's what I mean. It's old. You know, we keep it tight, new rope and all that business, but it's not one of these new high efficiency engineered stoves. We'll come back to that. I've tightened the old house up as much as I can, but the windows aren't triple layer argon filled vinyl framed wonder windows. And if there's any insulation to speak of in the walls upstairs, I've yet to find it. And yeah, we stay toasty warm and all, but the most intense and protracted cold spells. Okay, yeah, but how much wood do you burn, you ask? Same amount here as the other 3 places previously. I bet you'd like to reach through the internet and strangle me about now, eh, what? But don't. Not just yet, because I'm finally starting to get to my point. And this is my point. It takes a face cord a week to sustain a continuous fire. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that's a fact, Jack. And I'll brook no argument on it. We'll come back to the efficient, newer stoves again. Now, you can agree or disagree, but this is our baseline from which we base our math on. And just to clarify, a face cord is 32 cubic feet, and a bush cord is 4 of those, 128 cubic feet. You know, it's a foot of wood, 8 feet long, 4 feet high. Pretty much what's behind me here. Now, how many BTUs of heat do I get out of that face cord in that week? Because I need to know. Because how many BTUs in what time span in a given area, your given area, is pretty much the question. Well, it is in fact the question and the answer as well. Okay, now I'm going to digress a bit. Here's where it all gets a bit funky and really annoying. The only standard for sure is a pound of wood contains 8,600 BTUs or 8,100 BTUs. Depends what chart you look at, but we need a baseline. So we're going to stick to that, roughly. Now, what you say? How's that? All woods are not created any equal. My wood chart shows, for example, that elm contains twice the thermal energy per cord as ash. And indeed it does. That's not equivalent at this point. No two charts are in concurrent. I'm just going to use this as a reference point. A pound of wood is a pound of wood. Let me repeat that. A pound of wood is a pound of wood. You can get up there like Osage orange. It's got the same density as water. There's a couple of woods actually sink in water. They're that dense. But it all comes back to that a pound of wood is a pound of wood. Gives off, let's say, 8,600 BTUs. Pick the figure you like. Hence, a pound of elm is smaller than a pound of ash. It's a fact. Now, the elm and the ash measurement in area per cord, be it face or bush cord, is the same, but the weight is grossly different. And so is its heat output. This is the crucial thing you must understand. So back to the fundamentals. One face cord then burned in 1 week. How many BTUs did I put into my given area? Oh, don't shoot the messenger. The answer is there are so many variables it's near impossible to ever know concisely, exactly how many BTUs. Talk a bit about the variables here. If you want to drive yourself nuts, think about all the variables. The wood itself would need to be accurately weighed and its moisture content measured upon entry to the firebox. Relative humidity both within and outside the house. Barometric pressure is a big influence on how your pipe draws. Outside temperature, wind speed, so on. A lot of variables. So back to reality. You know, you can be as OCD as you want, you're never going to figure out all those variables. The best you do is say, okay, look at a wood chart, Google it or whatever, and say 3,000 pounds of is a good average for a dried bush cord on 20-15% moisture content. So now 3,000 pounds, that's getting down there. That's, you know, an ash or something like that. You get into your heavier woods, you can get up over 5,000 pounds. There's that variable again. Bush cord's the same dimension. Weight can be twice. Ash, elm, BTUs. So, do we go to our chart here? Yes, I think we do. Half a second here, bear with me. Yeah, okay, let's go to the chart and then I'll come back to this stuff. I know, I'm a little, yeah. Perhaps I don't need this stuff. Alright, here we go, our chart. Now, let me this up. We take a bush cord at 3,000 pounds, 750 pounds of face cord. And again, this is not a premium wood. It's getting down on, you know, but it's a saleable, purchasable commodity. So we got 750 pounds, 8,600 BTUs. This is how many BTUs we put in per week, per day, per hour. Now, I wrote a little hydro comparison here. This is how many kilowatts you'd burn per day to match this heat output. Excuse me. Little sub here, 1 watt hydro, 3.4 BTUs. So a 1,500 watt electric heater is going to give you 5,100 BTUs per hour. So you can cross-reference that math to see if I'm, you know, not stark raving mad. So, where are we here? Yes, okay. So we've burnt our face cord per week. This is how many BTUs we've put in. Again, daily, hourly. Now, let me block the chart out for a minute. To go back to costing, you could look at your house and say, well, last year I had natural gas, so I used so many cubic feet. How many BTUs is that? How many pounds of propane did I burn? How many BTUs is that? Electrical energy, okay. So that's how many BTUs your house is going to need. That doesn't really change. We'll come back to the chart here again in a minute. Bear with me, I know I'm all over the page here. I'm just using electric to wood because I wanted to see myself what it cost, and it's quick and easy. What you're paying for wood and the alternate energy sources in your area at any given time. Propane, for example, can vary wildly seasonally. What you pay in the summer, what you pay in the winter. Half sec. Again, you can go back and look at your house's cost last year. If your brother-in-law or somebody owns the same build and style of house in the same area, you can look at his bills. Look at them for last year, look at them over the last decade. Now, when it comes to area, the places I've been heating, their R values are not anything like a house that's been built in the last 25 years up to code or something. To my finding, my old stove, and the places with some pretty dubious R values, one face cord a week will keep 2,500 square feet quite habitable in all but the most protracted and seriously cold. Now, if it's that lengthy, protracted, and that cold, you've got a forced air furnace, it's going to run 40 minutes out of the hour. Year to year, period to period. So your firewood can use half as much again, given that that face cord a week is enough to heat your place. Bigger place, you're going to need more wood. You know, you want to run around half naked, you want it warmer, well, it's going to use more wood. But, you know, if you've got a sweater on and slippers and 70 degrees, 65 Fahrenheit are comfortable temperatures for you, that's the face cord a week. Now, the new wood stoves, they say that they're use a third to even half as much less wood. I have no experience with that. If that is indeed so, then adjust your math. It's simple. You want to heat a bigger area, more wood. You want to be warmer, it's colder for longer than where I am, more wood. But this is your baseline. Now, I'm not talking a 100 square foot micro home with an R value of a kabillion that you heat for a decade with a bushel of sticks here. I'm just trying to present what I found to be a realistic baseline. And it is. It isn't just mine. I've confirmed it with, let's call them my peers, who burn the same, live in the same type of places, are dependent upon wood heat. That's also based on selling firewood, which I did for a number of years, and what my customers were using. Now, I'm not living with them. I don't know if they're heating it supplementally or whatnot, but a face cord a week, a bush cord a month. You really can't get away with less. Now here, Southern Ontario, September, October, you're not burning 24/7, nor are you in April and May. So, 8-month spread. Six bush cords? Yeah, you know, get a figure on that, because again, your spring and your fall, you know, maybe you're only having evening fires and stoking it when you go to bed. You're not running it during the day. There's enough thermal energy. It's warm enough. May, you might almost burn nothing. Who knows? We don't plant here until May 24th, the May 24 weekend, for fear of frost. September can be quite balmy, even into October. You don't know. 20 years of burning, 6 bush cords. There's been some winters, 8. Oh yeah, because again, January, February, you get a protracted, serious cold spell. You can burn a face and a half. You can be pushing 2. And we have. So, back to some math. Okay, we've got all our hydro, we've got our, bush cord. Now, you're going to notice here, somebody's going to notice, up here I'm working on 8,600 BTUs. Here I went to 8,100. My mistake, just bollocked that up. Didn't want to redo the math. Not a big deal percentage-wise. Something we haven't talked about is, your potential energy. If you go to natural gas, you use so many cubic feet. What's the efficiency of your furnace? If you really want to crunch these numbers, you're going to have to do that. I'm just giving you a formula that works, that you can start with a reasonable baseline. So 1 week here in December this year, 2019, it's been very mild, unseasonably mild in fact. So we didn't burn a face cord in a week. It took us 10 days. In fact, almost through all of December, that was all we were using. I'd start at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. John would come home, chill out by the wood stove for the evening. Can you chill out by a wood stove? Sure you can. This stuff helps. Anyways, John would feed the stove. He'd load it up when he went to bed, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. We might or might not give it a quick feed in the morning. We'd let it burn out. Now, it never truly burns out. We're using a third less wood. The math will kind of show that in a minute. But we're not keeping it rocking. It's burning down to a bed of coals throughout the day. So during that time period, kind of comes to the end math here. And again, I've changed from 86 to 81, but what's that? A 16th or something different on the math. It's not a really big influence. You can see 664 to 921. Well, pretty well jibes up with 10 days compared to 7. Really it does. We used 23.4 pounds, 3.5 cubic feet. So we used 82 pounds a day. Times, again, I'm at 81 instead of, so we put in 600, blah, blah, blah. Cost, we're paying $95 a face cord. $2.81 a cubic foot, $9.80 a day. I didn't compare that to hydro. Hydro, the hidden cost, tax. We have 3 different billing periods, mid, low, and high consumption rates. All those pesky hidden costs, they change their names and it varies, and you got to spread that out over your hydro. Blah. So I just use fuel oil at $1.30 a liter. Would have cost us approximately $20 a day. Now, fuel oil, probably about your most expensive at the moment. But again, using this math, this basic formula, you can compare to your oil, gas, propane, electric. Some people are going to argue these figures. I know it. They're going to check comments below. They're going to say, no, nobody burns that much wood. That's not realistic. Or, I burn way more wood than that. Well, when I went on the internet recently thinking about writing this up, how much wood will I burn? Nobody really has a definitive answer. You'll get something like, I live in Michigan. Excuse me, last winter, it was pretty mild. I burned four cords. 4 face, 4 bush. What did you burn? I don't know. This formula, the standard I'm using, the basic math, let's call it, 1 face cord a week. Again, no one I know who's burnt wood over the years can really argue with that. A lot of the problem is, you don't keep track. You don't keep a hard record. What did I burn? Well, I have for years. Every face cord that I throw down into the basement, be it here, somewhere else, for the last couple of years here, I've been buying the wood at $95 a face cord. If I buy a load of logs, factor everything in, it's cheaper than investing. You'll see in a later video where I talk about different ways of getting firewood. You'll see why I buy it. I'm suffering for it, but At 95 bucks, I can't beat it. Now, normal cost around here is about $150. I've got a really good deal, but I'm just lucking out there. Again, what you're paying for your wood in your area, or what you figure it costs to produce your own wood, against the cost of the alternative energy sources, fuels in your area, that's your math. How big your house is, that's your math. But this formula, one face guard a week, is a standard that you can work on. Now, again, you can't go back to what I said earlier. You're measuring the weight and the moisture content as you're feeding it into your wood box. Of course, that's not going to happen. But you can look at a chart and say, well, okay, I'm getting this kind of wood. It's acceptably dry. My chart says I'm getting X amount of BTUs. Again, your lower woods, half the BTUs of your premium woods. And very seldom does anybody charge twice as much for a premium wood. The cutting, the sawing, the splitting, and the delivery are largely the same. Now, of course, the guy's going to burn more fuel delivering a premium wood, but I mean, seldom do you see it. Sometimes you can find places that do separate their wood. You can get a premium wood. You can pay a little extra and get apple, cherry, well, cherry's kind of down there, apple, elm, beech, the premium woods. And for the sake of work and economy, because they don't double the price for a premium, from, a 5,000 pound wood to a 2,500 pound wood, you're not going to pay twice as much. So you always want your premium woods. Now, it's an imperfect world. If you can get woods, premium woods, be it you're paying more or not, you want to keep those for the cold depths of winter. Really, don't you? Because you're going to use half, maybe even twice as much again, because you're going to need half again or twice as many BTUs in the depths of, frozen January, February than what you are in a mild November, December. You got to know your woods. We'll get into that in another video later on. So, I hope I had the camera aimed right for this. I hope that all makes sense. Comments below, please check the comments. Somebody's going to be OCD and fine-tune this math. You can fine-tune it yourself. But again, I am quite comfortable, confident in saying that bush cord, face guard a week, is the standard you have to work off of. You can only fine-tune the math so much. The BTUs in the wood, how efficient is your wood stove? Again, you can fine-tune the math on how efficient your furnace is. Propane, oil, gas. You're never going to get a clear and concise hard math, but you got to start somewhere. And this is it. It works. And I'll brook no argument on that. So let me check my notes and make sure if there was anything else I wanted to touch on before I depart here. Yeah, okay. In my next videos, I'll have a whole bunch of tips, tricks, how to get firewood, various ways you can do that. I'll get into selling wood, some costing stuff. And something I'd meant to show it might be the next video, just talking about tools, ash pails, stuff like this. I mentioned the lifestyle decision. Well, okay, that's whichever video it is. I think it's the next one, where I say it is a real lifestyle decision. It's a lot of work. I won't get into the math on the wood, what you're going to carry. You can kind of do it yourself. If you're going to put in 3,000 pounds a month, do your math. And you don't handle it just once. It doesn't land from the truck into your firebox. But I did mention you'll wear out a corn broom a year. Yeah. It is a lifestyle decision. So, what can I say? I hope to see you again. I hope you see the rest of my vids. Take care.